What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. Today, we're going to be talking about my greatest garden enemy. It attacks my trees, but not just the trees, the fruit on the trees. We're talking about the PLUM CURCULIO. Let's go! So what is it? What fruit does it attack? How can we prevent it? How can we combat it? What does it look like? What is the damage that it does? Those are all things I'm going to go through. And to start off, let's talk about the kinds of trees that it goes after. The trees it goes after are a number of them. Plums, peaches, apples, pears, cherries, quince. It essentially goes after all the stone fruit. That's not it though. This nasty critter even goes after the blueberries. So those are all things that are main crops within my food forest and within my side garden. So this is something I really need to know about. The PLUM CURCULIO is native to the northeast of the US. It's small, about a 1/4 inch big, and it looks almost armored when I look at it. That's what it reminds me of. It's got some bumps on the back of it, some brown spots, and one thing noticeable about it is the long snout. I caught one recently. Let me show you what it looks like. Here's one I caught this morning, and as you can see, it has that curled snout. That's one of the defining features. This is a female, and they'll come out in around May or June and use that snout to cut a V shape into your fruit, then lay their eggs. These eggs will then hatch up and eat at the center of that fruit, eat at the seed while it's still soft, causing it to prematurely fall in the ground. Not all the fruit that's bitten falls to the ground right away. Only the larvae that are strong enough to burrow through the developing seed. If the seed does develop and harden, then that larvae may stay inside of it and the fruit might not fall off till late June or July. You'll notice that fruit because as it starts to ripen, it'll rot. Let me bring you over to an apricot tree that already has some of those classic scar marks in it. Here's an apricot fruit with multiple scars on it. It's important to note though, they like some trees more than others. So just because some tree has a lot of branches with infected fruit, doesn't mean you're gonna lose all the fruit on all your trees. So let's talk about prevention. And I think the best place for that is the life cycle. Typically they overwinter in brush near your fruit trees and near plum trees, and they'll emerge in the early spring as the flowers start to drop off. They can fly, but they prefer to walk. They'll come up and the females, they'll cut into your fruit and lay the eggs in there. Depending on the kind of spring you have will play a factor on when they come out. For instance, if it's a warmer spring, they may come out earlier when the fruit's smaller, but if it's a cooler spring, they might not come out till like June. So the best way to do it is to monitor. Look at the trees. Once you start seeing some of those V-shaped cuts, you know you need to come out and do what you have to do to prevent or slow down the damage. Typically the females will come out on humid evenings, and after they lay their eggs inside of it, like I said, the fruit will brown while it's ripening, fall to the ground. The larvae will then stay inside of that and feed on that, then emerge in late summer and eat on some of your apples and things. So you want to make sure when that fruit falls to the ground, you take it out, get rid of it if it's infected, if it's infested. So what can we do now? We know that they are out here. We know that they are biting the trees. Let me show you what I do. Because I like to go with the beyond organic method and do things as natural as possible, I don't use any sprays. I only use physical prevention. So what I do is come out on those warm, humid nights and shake the tree. But before I do that, I want to put a white tarp down so I can identify them if I find them and then get rid of them. Let me grab the tarp first. There we go. So it's basically just a white tarp, and I lay it underneath the tree. And I've done this once or a few times already, and I got a couple of them. So I'll show you what they look like. I think I already showed you once. And I just come out and just shake the tree. You don't want to be too soft. You want to be kind of violent with it to make sure you get them off. One really important thing is when you shake them and put them on the tarp, they're going to play dead. There's one right here, but as you saw, he was playing dead. This is actually what they look like. They've got that long snout on them. This one's moving slowly because he looks a little injured, but typically they move quick. And again, that long snout is how he cuts into the fruit. And actually she lays her eggs. And again, in the beginning, you saw how it was playing dead. That's why you want to have a tarp, and you want to make sure you come and make sure you check every little piece of it. My focus is always to focus on prevention. And the timing of when to shake that trees for it to be effective is important. Once you see any of those little scars in some of them, you want to make sure you're coming out and shaking them at the right time. If that's not enough for you, because shaking them, it won't get rid of all of them. That's only going to save some of your fruit. There is a spray you could use that's natural, that's organic, that I'll let you know a little bit about. Again, personally, I don't use it, but I really don't have that much against it because it's completely natural and organic. It's called Surround, but that's just because of a company makes it. All it is a natural clay powder. It's just kaolin clay, and the way they process it is the reason they named it Surround. But don't think you can just use regular kaolin clay. This stuff is highly processed, and it's done with a super expensive big magnetic centrifuge, I think it's called. So again, you can't just use regular kaolin clay. But the kaolin powder is all organic. I'm not pushing it, I'm just giving you another option, and I'm not advocating it in any way because I don't even use it. What it does is kind of just gum up the reproductive organs, and it makes it so that pests doesn't even want to go there. As you guys can see, it's all about prevention. That's really the main thing. If you enjoyed this video and you think you learned something and it brought you some value and it may help you get more fruit in the future, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share it with your friends. Check us out on Steam It too, because we love posting on there. And to let you know, I won't be spraying the trees. I'm gonna do my best to come out here and do any kind of physical barriers I can, maybe some sticky traps wrapped around the bottom too, because like I said, they do like to climb a little bit. See you in the next one. James Prigioni is out.